I feel it should not be a hot take to say that 2025 is one of the greatest years in anime. Easily in the top 10, and probably in my top 5.
What top 5 you smoking on?
Too many great shows were released this year, to the point where the average person probably has an insane backlog of shows to watch. But as a supreme being such as myself, I've watched every single anime that came out this year.
Why the fuck you lying?
Okay, I didn't watch everything, but for the ones I did watch and aren't inside the top 10, they will probably be in the top 10 for any other year. That's how stacked 2025 really was. Now, before we get into it, of course, some spoilers will be said, and if you don't like sequels inside a best anime list of the year, I'll say jump to the 7th entry. Now with the intro done, let's get straight to it. Coming in at number 10, we got Solo Leveling Season 2. I don't think I need to introduce the anime that robbed Anime of the Year away from Free Run last year. Like, if this isn't on your list or somewhere in the honorable mention, you're kinda lying to yourself. Season 1 was great, but they somehow managed to make Season 2 even better. Like, Season 2 was unavoidable from the first episode in January to the end in March. Damn near every episode was hype and being talked about heavy for having some of the best action out, and how Jinwoo was one of the coldest characters to date. Between the fights with the ice elves, to Tusk, to him flexing his power and out-auroring everyone, it's all just dumb fun. Now look, is the story deep and the reason you're probably watching the anime? You're lying if you said it is. You are watching Solo Leveling for Jinwoo and the Shadows, and maybe Chihaya. You're there to watch them dog walk any enemy that comes their way while styling on them. Like, be honest, gun to the back of your head, name 5 Solo Leveling characters outside of Jinwoo, his Shadows, and Chihaya. A majority of people just got put in a t-shirt. And you know what? That's fine. Not the getting put in a t-shirt part, the not knowing the characters part. I say this because Solo Leveling is an example of how a narrative can be bare bones, but if it guides you perfectly to all the cool and hype moments you came for, it's all good. These moments, they all deliver. This may be a non-issue, but I feel like the manga had more internal monologues on Jinwoo's mental state, which, besides the action, was probably my favorite aspect of the story when I was reading it back in 2020. But even with this negative, I cannot deny how much fun I had watching Solo Leveling this year. And it almost took the 9th spot, but I had to give it to dandadan Season 2. Besides Free Run, this was probably my favorite show of last year, and for me, Season 2 is honestly better than Season 1. Like, the continued development of Okudun and Momo's bond is great. Like, if dandadan was even more focused on the romance than it is the action, this could honestly be one of the best romance animes out. But it's not, and that's fine, because this show blends the two elements of shoujo romance and shonen action better than probably any other anime. That might be an exaggeration, but I don't think I'm wrong, because Season 2's progression of Okudun and Momo is better than a lot of romance first shows, and the action is still top notch. And the way that this show is just a fusion dance of different genres, and it somehow works perfectly without the show seeming like just being born from someone throwing a whole bunch of shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. It's honestly just a great watch. And besides their MCs, Gigi went from a whatever character to one of the homies. Gilf is even better this season. Arya is still annoying, but that doesn't mean she's a bad character. And my favorite addition, Evil Eye, is easily my favorite spirit so far in the anime. Like, what can I say? It's just as great as Season 1, possibly even better, and I need Season 3 like tomorrow. But you know what's not getting another season? My Hero Academia, which is my 8th spot. Honestly, this season exceeded all expectations. It reminded me of why I liked My Hero in the first place, because after the overhaul arc, My Hero dropped off for me. And it's not because of the fandom, which is a whole nother case. Like, I was still watching it, but I just didn't enjoy the show as much as the earlier seasons, especially when they butchered My Villain Academia. But we're not talking about that. This season cooked. The animators were in their bag for all these scenes. Deku, a character I've always been so on, had me looking like a fanboy. And then he beat the fraud allegations. After the anime's finale, he don't gotta put shit in the bag, because now he's pretty much mini Tony Stark. Then Bakugo, already one of my favorite characters, had 2 of my favorite scenes of this year alone, and literally gave us the answer to this long-standing question: hydrogen bomb or coughing baby? Shit, even All Might was putting in numbers. And thankfully, Shigaraki and All For One actually stay as good villains that lived up to their final boss status, and get a good send-off. This season had no real issues, and was a must-watch every week. And in recent years for long-running shows, My Hero's anime has one of the better endings. And I say that because the manga's ending really got dragged because of the sheer propaganda that this image brought. But overall, My Hero Academia has been a great ride, and it gets an amazing final season to send it off. Easily one of my favorite shows this year. Next up, we got Apocalypse Hotel, and as the name suggests, there is a hotel on Earth that is still up and running due to being ran by robots after all the humans have either been spliffed or got off planet. And our MC, Yachio, runs the whole operation with the help of her mechanical homies, hoping that one day they'll have some guests to attend to. This show slaps. I mean... Like, instead of the typical robots take over the world type of thing, it's just robots chilling and being stuck in an endless loop of their original program, which is kinda dark. At least they eventually get guests a couple decades later, but it's just that they're aliens. Apocalypse Hotel has a pretty sad premise when you think about it, but then there's some actual fun moments. Like when this family of Tanuki come down to stay at the hotel, they were essentially shitting everywhere so they can establish their territory, which had Yachio tweaking the hell out, which was fun to watch on its own. But what I really want to get to is the scene where the daughter and the Tanuki family is running away from this dune worm, and after obtaining this chainsaw to go slay it, looking like my Go Ayamu, she starts to go in and then just nopes the hell out of there. Like, this was a very fun and chill show to watch, even though there is some of that sorrow, because the show makes you feel hella bad for these robots that are just stuck hoping every day for humanity's return. Like, this show had me thinking about life at times. So for sure, I can say this was easily one of my favorite animes of this year, hands down. Now for my sixth pick, it's Uma Musume Cinderella Grey. Now look, if you haven't watched this anime, you're probably thinking that I'm trolling, and I promise you I'm not. Yes, Horse Girl Racing is one of my favorite shows this year. Like, why is the animation going this hard? Like, it can't be this serious. But it absolutely is. I be in my room hyped as hell, as if I just put my house on the line and I need this parlay to hit. You might have just laughed at the idea of watching this show, and I did at first, but mama ain't raised no Rachel. I'll watch almost anything because you might discover some heat. And this show is everything a sports anime needs to be. Honestly, it might be in my top 5 favorite sports animes to date. If not, it's for sure in top 10. Like, sports anime needs you to care about the MC and his team, then care about the opposing team enough to possibly want to see them win, just not against the MC. Then the actual scenes of the sport need to be insane. And like all other great sports anime, Cinderella Grey does this easily. Our main character, Oguri, is based on a real racehorse that was tossed to the side and considered not good enough for racing due to having messed up legs. But like a true underdog, they grinded and eventually dominated the scene. Cinderella Grey follows the actual history of Oguri, which means if you know the actual horse's history, you will kinda know how the show's counterpart will thrive. Of course, the anime does anime things and turns the horse into an anime girl that gets character arcs, motivations, and rivals. Like when the characters are having emotional moments, whether it's from triumph or struggle.
This shit means something to me, man.
Like, it could be for any character besides the MC, and I'll still be there for it. Now listen, I know some loser is going to type, oh, anime is dead now, if a horse girl anime is one of the best shows of the year. That has to be one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard. What you should really take from that is the fact that anime is such a great and expressive media that it could somehow make an anime about horse girl racing be amazing. Man, if you're on the fence about watching Uma Musume Cinderella Grey, I'll say just give it a try, because the show might not be everyone's cup of battery acid, but you can't say it's trash. Unlike my top 5 pick, Gachi Yakuta.
Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Man, y'all some haters. Anyways, Gachi Yakuta is simply YNs in the gutter. All they do is fight each other and these big ass Garbodors. We follow the young goat, Rudo, after being framed for slamming out his father and being exiled to the abyss, where shit gets hectic frame 1. And instead of going out like some scrub, Rudo shows that he's one of them ones. Cause he gets up and bro was looking sorry for a moment, but then he knew he had to lock in. And from here, he sets his goal to get strong enough to return home so he can clear his name and apply belt to the ones that framed him. And I'm here for it. That's some good MC motivation. Then, after a couple episodes of enjoying myself, this show takes it up to a different level by bringing a demon into the show. See, look, before when I was talking about YNs in the gutter, this is what I was talking about. And hold up, bro might have the best dreads in fiction. Who was messing with him? And the best part is, bro was a certified crash dummy.
One of Satan's greatest soldiers.
Jabber's introduction marks when I got hooked on this show. And besides him, damn near every character got that dog in it. Especially Rio. And the power system being based on making everyday items that someone treasures into a powerful weapon called the Jinki is kinda cool. And what makes the MC different is that Rudo can turn any object into a Jinki because he values everything. Typical MC activity, you know, just breaking the world's power system simply by existing. Also, the fights be cooking because they be throwing them good hands. Like Rio versus Norde is just them straight boxing. Well, until they're not. Like, she really brought the mouse tool to the function. And besides the action, Gachi Yakuta has one of the most interesting and creative worlds, and it's essentially just trash on top of even more trash, and then a beautiful civilization. You know what? This shit remind me of Final Fantasy VII. No wonder I like it. Also, I love this show's character designs. So overall, I love this show, and I need the next season now, because this show had me on lock. Just like how I had to lock in when watching Lord of Mysteries. Honestly, the way people were were complaining about not understanding or struggling to keep up with the story back in the summer was concerning. And all I could do was laugh at the people struggling because I, of course, understood everything on the first watch.
You lying? Yeah.
Man, this show had me rewinding just to be sure I knew what was going on. It made me have an eternal monologue with myself. You are smart. You can understand this. Sure, it's information dump galore, but you got this. Then I sat back down, and then my eyes opened. I was in the flow state and everything was making sense. Like when Klein learned something new, I learned with him. When he figured something out, it was like I was right there with him. So when he is confused about something, shit, I'll be explaining it back to him just so he know what to do. Obviously.
Shut your lame ass up, man.
So let me just say, this show had me immersed. The anime made me want to start reading the novel. Oh, you asked if I did? Anyways, the amount of depth, lore, and actual story in this show is insane, and based off the current 1,000+ chapters in the novel, it only gets better. Then, when you look at the animation and art style that is backing up the anime, it is done so perfect that before I even knew what the show was about, I was already on board. Like, what do you mean every episode has almost double the frames of Solo Leveling's best episode in fight? And talking about fights, based off of what I just said, you should already know that the sequences are fire. Then, the power system. Don't even get me started, cause what do you mean this is the power system chart? But even with the chart looking as crazy as this, it is still cool as hell. Same with the world building. Like, the entire show is just fascinating and attention grabbing. And with the speed at which the information is given to you, you might have a hard time, but there is a reason you have a rewind and a pause button. Take a sec to actually digest the information, because I promise, it is worth it. Now for my top 3. First up, we got To Be Hero X. This show is something else. It's borderline scary how good this show really is. The switches between the different art styles are so clean and stunning to watch. Like, whatever the animators were on when they were making this, I need some of that. These things be having me. Like, these sequences are so fire, and honestly, this might be one of the greatest fights in anime. With the release of To Be Hero X and Lord of Mysteries, danguas are honestly on the map now. Of course, there are other great danguas, but these two have just cemented it. And for To Be Hero X, they actually have a very cool power system, because their powers are based off of public perception. Like, if the public views you as the wall that stands tall, well, I guess you're gonna be standing forever. This is honestly so shitty. This might be worse than having a quirk that makes you have a Lego head, or the quirk that turns you into a Windex bottle. And for the characters, it's more like an anthology, so we don't just follow one set main character. Every few episodes, it'll switch in between a different person that we're following, so that they can get fleshed out and actually be interesting, because all their arcs actually lead up to a big tournament at the end, which thankfully, Season 2 is already confirmed, picking up exactly where Season 1 just left off. Season 2 honestly needs to drop like today, because this show is easily one of the most fun shows to watch this year. Like, if I had to rank this year's anime based off of how much fun I had watching them, To Be Hero X is probably number 1. And I for sure cannot say the same thing for Tokopi's Original Sin. This show was not fun. It is insanely good, but I for sure will never give this show a rewatch. Like, the content is so messed up, I don't want to rewatch this show, even though it was great. This has to be one of the most depressing shows I've ever watched, due to it highlighting subjects like child bullying and domestic abuse. Like, this show has some of the worst parents in anime. A lot of people probably won't watch Tokopi because of its subject matter, which is honestly understandable, but damn is the storytelling great. I know some people dislike the ending, and I won't spoil it, but I am more positive on the ending of the anime, which is probably why I have it this high. I imagine if I dislike the ending, I probably would have it ranked around 9 or 10th. But for me, every episode had me hooked as I watched this little squid try to help these children experience happiness. Like, through this 6-episode run, all I wanted was for Shizuka to be granted eternal happiness with our dog and whatever else she wants. I'm gonna keep this one short because I really do want people to watch this if they haven't, because this is easily one of the best stories of the year. Now, it's time for the honorable mentions, and I won't lie, I have a lot of shows here and I just feel like mentioning them. And I'm gonna keep this section short, so I'm just gonna spitball them out. Here we go. Medalist, City the Animation, The Summer Hikaru Died, May I Ask for One More Thing, The Two Perfect Saint, Anne Shirley, Sakamoto Days, Dr. Stone, From Bureaucrat to Villainous, The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You, Toilet Bound Hanako, My Dress Up Darling, Kaiju Number 8, Call of the Night, Rascal Doesn't Dream of Santa Claus, Grand Blue Dreaming, Secrets of the Silent Witch, Clevites, I Was Reincarnated as a Seventh Prince, Dealing with the Makondo Sisters, Spy X Family, My Status as an Assassin Obviously Exceeds the Hero, Campfire Cooking in Another World, A Wild Last Boss Appeared, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Who Made Me a Princess, Zenshu, Kowloon Generic Romance, and finally Kingdom Season 6. I would have included Dragon Ball Daima, but that's considered a fall 2024 anime, just like another show I'm about to bring up very shortly. Now, before I give my number 1, there's a little asterisk here, because I don't know if I should include ReZero Season 3 for this year, because the second half of the season did start in February, after the first part ended in December. So if ReZero is considered a part of 2025, it is my number 1. But since it probably isn't, my favorite show for 2025 is Apothecary Diaries Season 2. This show, to this day, has me in a chokehold. Similar to my love of ReZero, I have rewatched both seasons of Apothecary Diaries, first by myself, and then through these reaction channels. Shout out to them. To me, the Apothecary Diaries feels like a perfect show, with a so far flawless story and amazing characters. Like, I want to meet Mao Mao. She's one of the greatest female characters to date, and I'll say characters in general. Mao Mao is so unbothered by all the bullshit that surrounds her, all in the name of trying to continue her work as an apothecary. Like, all she wants to do is chill and actually do her work, but then she gets wrapped up in whatever tomfoolery the rear palace is brewing. Then she'll get tasked with solving the case, and then after solving it, she'll notice some loose thread that 3 episodes later, after some information is divulged, she'll just give a certain look, and then I immediately know I'm about to have something from a couple episodes ago fully explained. Like, I love everything about the Apothecary Diaries. No narrative beats feel like filler, or in the moment it might, but then it will spin around later to be an actual important plot point. Like, the tiniest addition in season 2 is this cat. You would assume it's just gonna be there just to be a cute little like mascot type, but when you actually look at it, it introduces an important character, then it was used to solve 2 cases at the end of the season. It's honestly great how the story does things like this. And besides Mao Mao, Jinchi's eternal dilemma of pushing his true identity to the side because he doesn't want to be tied down to the royal family is great, and we get to see that wall actually come down. The concubines, especially Gyokyu, are fun whenever they're on screen. Xiaolan needs to be protected at all costs. Lee Haku has one of the greatest 180s I've experienced in anime, going from a character worth dirt to hoping he gets more screen time. And the Emperor is also a vibe because he's just a chill guy who loves Tiggle Bitties. Then an unresolved character plot point from season 1 comes back around to be resolved this season, and it's just peak. This is easily my favorite show 2025. Of course, if ReZero is included. Actually, you know what? I think Apothecary Diaries might beat out this season of ReZero. This season was just that great for me. So yeah, these are my top 10 favorite anime of 2025, and honestly, this year was stacked. There were so many shows that I could have put from the like 10 to 6 range that it was rough. Like, I could look at someone else's list and they'll probably be totally different from mine, and I wouldn't be mad at it. And that's why I feel like this is easily one of the best years in anime. And honestly, 2026 is coming, and it's probably gonna do the same exact thing. Us as anime fans, we're eating good. If you enjoyed the video, or if you didn't, please leave a comment. Let me know what was your top 10 for the year, and let me know what year do you actually consider the best in anime. On that note, hope you all have a great day.